Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all having a great day and that you are all doing well. To start things off, Simplicity, a combinator-based typed and functional language for blockchain applications, can reportedly enable Bitcoin's script language to handle more complex yet reliable smart contracts. According to a new research from Blockstream on Simplicity, a blockchain applications language, distributed ledgers pose a range of unique challenges which make traditional programming languages unfit. What's more, Bitcoin's script language is limited to certain combinations of signature checks, hash locks, and time locks. Second-layer solutions, on the other hand, such as the Lightning Network, for example, have been built on these primitives and hence lack the necessary expressiveness for more complicated smart contracts. The paper also cites a recent upgrade failure of Ethereum's EVM, or the Ethereum Virtual Machine, caused by disagreement of implementations of the results of a certain computation, resulting in lost funds. There's a pretty photo. According to the research, Simplicity is capable of providing the necessary flexibility for a wide range of computations, while at the same time allowing users to verify the security, costs, and safety of smart contracts. Furthermore, the low-level programming language is also purportedly capable of solving certain previously required trade-offs between reliability and expressiveness. For all those who are scratching their heads or kind of wondering, people are, I don't want to say desperately, but Bitcoin is at a situation right now where the market is, in the simplest terms, if we have a bull run coming up anytime in the future and Bitcoin has not officially gotten it together, one of the main fears is that Bitcoin will eventually be left behind. And this pretty much comes down to Bitcoin is incredibly, I don't want to say simple. It's more simplistic than the other cryptocurrencies that we have right now in the market. And one of the major fears is that we can have a platform that is for smart contracts, one that is, 50,000 transactions per second, one that does this, one that does so and so, and Bitcoin is kind of lagging behind, especially since we are now waiting for the full implementation of the Lightning Network. And this is not the first time that people have actually been trying to build smart contracts on top of Bitcoin. Smart contracts are seen as the thing, one of the major things that is going to propel cryptocurrencies forward / blockchain. We'll get rid of tons of lawyer jobs, tons of accountants and things like that. When you can execute these things by yourself and not having the need of a third party, it's simply the smart contract on the platform that does it itself. So in order to not remain relevant, Bitcoin needs many of the other things that the other platforms are also boasting about. This is why we see a huge push towards the other platforms. Ethereum, EOS, everybody wants a smart contract platform. Everybody wants something that can make essentially other cryptocurrencies redundant because they can already do that themselves. I think Bitcoin will eventually have these things on its platform. I think it may take a couple of years to get the full implementation. We've been promised a lot of things that are supposed to have happened on Bitcoin, but we still don't have them as of yet. These are multiple privacy layers, and that's not even like one major one, like multiple ones that completely make it so that transactions are incredibly difficult to follow and or completely untraceable. Smart contracts, pretty much to be like the other platforms. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely possible for Bitcoin to have a another layer solution that will allow it to have like ICOs on their platform, or to be able to build dApps and stuff like that. I think that would be a major moment for Bitcoin in general when and me personally, I think a lot of the focus right now is on Lightning, which I guess it should be, to be able to actually speed up the network so that we can have more transactions and micro transactions, if you will, passing through the Bitcoin network, or rather as payments flowing through it. Eventually, the idea is when you listen to podcasts or when you listen to like other Bitcoin maximalists, all these things are technologically possible. Like, it's not possible for Bitcoin to have additional layers, and therefore these layers having things around them. It's just that at its core, Bitcoin is relatively simple, or simpler than the other cryptocurrencies that we have right now. So it may take some time to build these things or to latch them on, these extra chains onto the blockchain that as we have right now. It's going to happen at some point, just a matter of when. How do I say this? This could be why we have so many people talking about that eventually Bitcoin will be the only thing that we need. I'm pretty sure you've all heard that rhetoric. It does seem a bit far-fetched, especially when we have other platforms like this, or rather other platforms in general that do what they're trying to get Bitcoin to do. It's all possible, but I think we have at least a number of years before any of this actually gets implemented. But yeah, let's move on. Next up, last week, BitZ, I'm not exactly sure if that's supposed to be pronounced bits, but I'll say BitZ, a popular cryptocurrency exchange based in Hong Kong, announced that they were adding XRP support. The crypto coin will be paired against the US dollar. The exchange has been in operation since 2016. It has a physical appearance in 10 different countries, concentrating with Asian markets such as South Korea, Japan, and Singapore. According to Token Insight, why not? A professional assignment agency, the platform is the world's fourth most important cryptocurrency exchange. The company is involved in more than just crypto services. They also offer games, finance, electronic commerce, and social networking. While several crypto assets are now available on BitZ, a few weeks ago, it was not possible to buy any assets directly on the platform. The process involved transferring Bitcoin from your wallet to your account on the website. Then one would proceed to take the Bitcoin for other available coins. Anyone who has been involved with cryptocurrencies as a retail investor knows that this is how most exchanges work, and it's incredibly frustrating. Few platforms allow users to buy crypto with a credit card or debit card directly. However, BitZ has always been ahead of the curve even before listing XRP. The platform has been offering over-the-counter trades where one can use US dollars or Chinese yuan to buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Litecoin. The purchases are done off the platform, but one has so and so. Where was the really important part? Yeah, here we go. This is what I find the most interesting about this. It says the platform also accepts a wide variety of payment methods, including cash deposit, Alipay, Wire, Net Teller, PayPal, WeChat, Western Union, and MoneyGram. I have yet to see another platform offer PayPal as an actual payment service. Side note, as always, once again, this is not paid advertising with me talking about how amazing a BitZ is. I have never used BitZ. I don't know the people from BitZ. I went to their website. The whole thing was completely in, I'm not sure if it was Mandarin, but it was in a Chinese language that I did not understand. If you scroll up over here, you're able to click on to English. The website looks pretty, I don't want to say like basic. It looks pretty okay, at least at the moment. My main thing is because I've mentioned before in other videos that I have a pretty, not difficult time when it comes to buying cryptocurrencies, but just being able to get something quickly, like on demand rapidly, has been fairly difficult. Like, you know, you have there are other platforms where you kind of have to have like your things like pre-funded, or you have to pay with a debit or credit card, or you have to like a bank transfer, and it's still not as quick as I want. So the prospect or the idea of being able to actually pay in PayPal, this is not me telling you to use this platform because they say that you're able to use PayPal. Please do your own research before even thinking about using another cryptocurrency exchange or other platform where you can buy cryptocurrencies. I think it's fairly interesting. I'm actually going to try and dive into this when I'm done with this video, because when I want crypto, like you want crypto when the prices are down. Like, you don't want it a week and a half later after you've seen the market moving and stuff like that. Point is, XRP has been added to this. Apparently they're very popular. I'm going to assume many people have not heard of them because we are not in Hong Kong. I'm assuming a large portion of people. Hello out there if you are in Hong Kong. Hope you're having a nice day. But yeah, I'm going to look into this because I would definitely like to be able to have a rapid way and like an immediate way to be able to buy cryptocurrencies. But yeah, let's move on. Zilliqa's in the news. That's not something you hear very often. Where is it? There we go. It says earlier today, I assume this was yesterday, the team at Zilliqa announced the launch of the third version of the project's testnet that includes new features. TestNet v3 has been codenamed Mao Shang Wang, keeping the tradition of naming the project's testnets after the durian family of fruits. Version 1 was codenamed Red Prawn, and version 2 was codenamed D24. Zi Shun Dong, CEO at Zilliqa, went on to explain the significance of this testnet launches as follows. He said, "This is a major technical milestone as far as we know. This is the first fully fledged testnet in the world to implement network transaction and smart contract sharding. The specific testnet has addressed some of the security issues discovered by our security auditors and added requires safety checks and extra enforcement mechanisms to improve the stability of the system," end quote. The launch of the mainnet has been scheduled for the 31st of January, and this new testnet has features similar to the upcoming mainnet. These features include, but are not limited to, I can only assume, the full implementation of Zilliqa programming language, implementation of smart contract sharding, transaction sharding, public mining of testnet ZILs in an eco-friendly manner as GPUs only run at the full load for a small fraction of time, because why not? New incentive mechanisms that reward nodes, new, easier, and efficient upgrading protocol. Full details and documentation on how to carry out mining will be made available by the team this upcoming Monday. This will provide timely technical support and bug fixing for the network's miners. I remember Zilliqa being, the word Zilliqa being thrown around earlier this year. A lot of people told me to talk about Zilliqa. I don't not talk about coins because I don't like them. I don't not talk about coins because they're not in the news. If your coin is not in the news, I can't fabricate news for you to talk about the things you may have put your money into. I am, and I want to say crypto agnostic. I try to walk directly down the center as much as possible, but I noticed this, I mentioned this before in another video. You may have noticed that when I talk about certain cryptocurrencies, they kind of branch around the same 10 to 15 coins. This is not by accident. It's just that the only news that's out there pertains to Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, EOS, sometimes Omise Go, Litecoin, Zcash / Monero, depending on the time that you're actually, out there. Very few coins actually make it onto the news. So Zilliqa, for a very long time, has not ever been in the news. No, a lot of people have been asking me to cover it or to talk about it or to get into it. Here is the Zilliqa news. They are still apparently working on their testnet in preparation for the mainnet launch. So I assume when they do have the mainnet launch, it'll be more of a topic that many other people are going to be talking about, simply because these are the other blockchains that have not launched yet but have come out saying before in the past, especially with their followers talking about that these are going to be the coins that are going to be able to topple Ethereum and XRP and Bitcoin. And for what it's worth, we had a lot of other cryptocurrencies this year who were supposed to have done the exact same thing. We're still waiting. I love EOS, but we're still waiting on EOS to topple Ethereum. Hasn't happened yet, but I hope that, and I mean this, and I hope that 2019 is a very dramatic year. I want different coins to fight. Like, I want, when there is, in the year 2025, when we have a top 5 of the cryptocurrencies, I want it to have been a ridiculous battle of technological wits. I want the coins and projects that are going to be in the top 5 to have actually earned their spot. So if you think you can overtake Bitcoin or XRP or Ethereum, by all means go for it. I will be definitely watching. But yeah, let us move on. So we have a lot of speculation, if you will, as to exactly what Coinbase is doing. This is a very hot topic, especially because the people at Coinbase have yet to not even add XRP aside, what have you, just add more coins in general. Like, the coins that they've been adding have been things that are popular, but not as popular as other coins that they could be adding to their platform. It says, right after listing Ethereum Classic back in August, Coinbase set his eyes on the 5 digital assets of 0x, BAT, Zcash, Stellar, and Cardano. The exchange went on to list the first 2 digital assets in mid-October and early November, respectively. The theory goes that the exchange is more inclined to list ERC20 tokens such as 0x and BAT due to the ease of integrating with the platform, which already supports Ethereum. This can explain why the exchange chose the 2 digital assets first. Just yesterday, Coinbase Pro announced that it was listing Zcash. This came as a surprise to many crypto investors all over the world and traders who thought Stellar was next in line after BAT and Zcash. I actually had to 0x. I had completely forgotten about Zcash. I'm not even half joking. I assumed that it would be Stellar and then Cardano, and then at that point I was expecting a new list of coins that they were going to add. Not one person in this world was actually expecting Zcash. The exchange usually does not explain why it chooses to list one digital asset over another. And so we are going to attempt to explain why Zcash was listed before XLM. So they go over the reasons why they think so. It comes down to because the Winklevoss twins listed Zcash on their Gemini exchange, and therefore they're trying to compete with them in some type of way. I'm not in their internal meeting, so this definitely could be one of the reasons why they did it. Zcash, while popular, like I said before, is not as popular as other coins. Like, I think Cardano is actually more popular than Zcash at this point, and Stellar Lumens has been around for quite some time, so the fact that that wasn't even listed first is kind of weird. Demand by institutional investors, I don't think that was also there. They say that people, apparently, that there could be a bit of energy around Zcash because it has been listed on the Gemini exchange. The Gemini exchange isn't that large. Like, they've made sure to be completely compliant, but they're not, and they've also been around for quite some time, but they're not the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the entire world. I don't think that there are enough institutional investors who are on the Gemini exchange who were clamoring and annoying Coinbase to be able to list Zcash because they wanted it and Gemini had it. I don't think that's exactly what it was. On top of this as well, we have people wondering if Cardano could be listed before Stellar. I have a strong inkling at this point that Coinbase just likes to play games. I think that they know what people want, and I don't know if it's their business plan to what I think. So it's two things. Coinbase is either adding coins backwards from how, like, the energy and the hype and the whatever, the want and need of the other coins before actual major coins. I think Coinbase's thing has been for quite some time, and this is what I think they're doing, is to add other coins, or rather as many other coins as possible, to be able to have obviously tons of coins on their platform. But this is why I was, and many other people as well, were caught off guard when they talked about 0x, BAT, and even kind of Zcash. Like, Stellar and Cardano, incredibly popular. This is why I think they went this route. These other coins, and especially with Ethereum Classic as well. That's not to say that Ethereum Classic isn't an amazing platform or people don't love it, but it's still not as popular as Stellar or as Cardano. So what I think they're going to do is, and this is me looking into my non-existent crystal ball, these are going to be listed, obviously, as they are listed. I think Cardano will be before Stellar. That's me thinking. I think Stellar is incredibly popular. I think it has, especially the last couple of days, if you look, I think I'll show you guys in a couple of minutes, I think Stellar has been passing other altcoins in anticipation of the possibility of being listed on Coinbase. So I think Stellar will be last because it is the most popular. This is at least how I feel. And once Cardano's listed and once Stellar's listed, this is when we're going to get another list of potentially 5 coins from Coinbase that they're going to be adding. I think the timing is completely accurate for what they're trying to do, i.e., I think they have spaced this out appropriately so that it covered the last half of this year. 2019 is when we're going to, I believe, get a brand new list of coins from the Coinbase people that they're going to be adding to their platform. That's at least kind of how I feel about it. This article, however, believes that Cardano has an edge over Stellar. I'm not going to get into it. Like, I really can't. I'm not in the mood for people ranting in the comment section right now. Cardano is incredibly popular. If you like Cardano, you really like Cardano. People think that Cardano has the capacity to be able to take over Ethereum, XRP, EOS. I haven't heard people talking about it becoming the #1 coin, but I've definitely heard people talking about Cardano being like the it coin that can do all. Stellar, they noted here as well, they think, and I've heard this many other times from other people before, a lot of people think that they have even listed or are talking about listing Stellar over XRP is because of the similarities that they have between both of them, as they have some type of common lineage, if you will, and therefore this is either a smack to the face for the people from Ripple, or this is them trying to show that they are not opposed to listing something that is very similar to XRP. What have you? No one knows exactly what's going on at this point. So the other coins were listed, what was it, October and November. I'm going to assume the last 2 coins are going to be listed within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Let's see. But I definitely think in 2019 we're going to have a new list of coins that they're going to be adding. And if it's 5 coins, I can assure you 3.5 of them won't be as popular as one of them, and then the last one is going to be the thing that's added last. And what I mean by 3.5 coins, the fourth coin is probably going to be something popular, but not popular enough that you think that they should be adding it to Coinbase. That's kind of what I mean. Do I think they're going to add XRP anytime soon? Not a snowball's chance in summer. What I think they're going to do is I think they're going to add XRP, but I think they're going to add XRP in every other country except for the United States. I didn't mean to laugh, but if you've been paying attention to the last other videos, you know that they've been mentioning that they plan on listing multiple coins, but they keep saying over and over that these will be available in other jurisdictions, but not within the US or not within New York. But without further ado on this topic, the speculation is running rampant. A lot of people are wondering when or what Coinbase is going to list next. And at the end of the day, only they know. To finish things off, members of VanEck, and SolidX and the CBOE BZX exchange met with U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, or the SEC, staff earlier this week to present a new argument on why the Bitcoin market is ready for an exchange-traded fund in the latest push to convince the regulator to approve a rule change which would open the door for the country's first Bitcoin ETF. The three firms met with the SEC's Division of Corporate Finance, Division of Trading and Markets, Division of Economic and Risk Analysis, and Office of General Counsel. Notably, Monday's efforts differed from previous presentations, which took more of a regulatory focus. Instead, the proponents arguments centered around the idea that the Bitcoin market is mature enough to support an ETF, and that present looks similar to markets for other assets which already have such products. The presentation gave several examples of assets that already have ETFs, including crude oil, silver, and gold. So this happened on Monday. We didn't actually figure out that this happened until yesterday. This made a lot of news in the cryptocurrency space, that there was like a private meeting between multiple people who were trying to meet with the SEC to try and tell them, because what ended up happening 3 days ago that we had news about is there was like the end of the consensus event that ended up happening in New York, I think it was. The head of the SEC struck a very hard tone talking about the cryptocurrency space. We had news then on Thursday, which I think I skipped over because I didn't feel like talking about the SEC back to back, was that they said that they think that there is not going to be a Bitcoin ETF anytime soon. And it pretty much comes down to I think it comes down to manipulation of the market. The market's not mature enough. If I'm frustrated, as you've heard me in other videos, I can only imagine what it's like for these actual companies, organizations, exchanges, whatever you want to call them, just desperately trying to get this thing pushed through. Like it's not even the SEC makes it seem like a Bitcoin ETF is like the thing that's going to solidify Bitcoin's futures. Like Bitcoin is not going to go up to $39,000 the day after they announce this. I don't understand what the whole fervor is really about this anymore. I'm hoping that 2019 brings us a cascade of new news of things that we can focus on instead of having to worry about the SEC. I think if we had something, if we had like 3 other things to focus on in the news, I think the cryptocurrency space would be a lot calmer. That's just at least how I feel about it. I think at this point, the SEC should be made irrelevant, and I don't mean that they should close their doors. I mean, like, as far as talking about them in the cryptocurrency space. The reason we do talk about them is simply because that people talk about, or the idea is that when we do have a Bitcoin ETF, this will allow or give a green light to the other institutional investors that they can safely walk in the space as it is regulated. But I still think that the entire New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ thing will hopefully be enough of a propulsion. If the community at large weighs a Bitcoin ETF heavier than the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange creating their own cryptocurrency exchanges and a payment method for people to use around the world to be able to pay in Bitcoin, then our priorities are a bit mixed up. Just wanted to say that. But to finish everything, you can, if you look at like the colors happening on the screen, the crypto market's going absolutely insane. I woke up Bitcoin was 39.50 or something like that, and for some reason it's completely losing its mind. Not exactly sure what's happening at the moment. There hasn't been any type of significant, amazing, crazy news that's been popping up, so I can't really tell you why the market is kind of going insane. It's nice to see a bit of volatility in the market. It's nice to see that things are actually moving back and forth. There are a lot of people talking about which we spoke about a couple days ago, that the market is acting very similarly to how it was before we had our last bull run, or rather the beginning of the last bull run. And it kind of came down to, when Bitcoin searches on Google start to spike. And this is exactly what happened a couple of days ago. This is usually an indication that the people are searching, obviously, for more news about Bitcoin because they're looking to get back into the space. Normally, if you're on this website, these colors aren't flashing. Like, it's just kind of still. Like, it just doesn't move. But recently, things haven't kind of been going crazy. I hope it's a good indication. I hope it's I hope we receive a lot more movement in the market. I'm actually pretty surprised, especially because it is the weekend at the time I'm making this video. Typically on the weekends, the market does not move at all, or everything is completely in red. So waking up and then an hour and a half later making a video and seeing that everything is completely in green, except for SV, is pretty nice. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, and or evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. If you are feeling down about the cryptocurrency market, please go outside. Have a nice day. Don't even look at the prices at all today. Just be happy that things aren't green, because we could have a minus 16% through the entire market right now, but we don't. So I still believe that there are good times ahead. Thank you once again, or all once again, for watching and or listening. And yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. See you.